So, we have been talking about this verse of the Gita, Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, and we started talking about it in the previous video, and we saw what the first line is trying to say, that we have control over the choice of action, but not over the result. And in this sense, Krishna is saying that you have right over action, but not over the result. The result is chosen or brought to you by all the various laws which are working. There are so many variables in play that we don't even know of, and the result is a product of all those variables. Right? Now this leads us to the following conclusions. First, the result is just a result. It is neither success nor failure. Think about it. The result is just a result. It is a product of all the variables in play, and therefore, given the variables, only a particular result is possible, and that is what it is. It is neither success nor failure in itself. Is it? With reference to our expectations, it may be called success or failure, but in itself, it is just a result. It is neutral, neither a success nor failure. Okay? Suppose you start a company and you expect it to be the top company in the industry. That is your expectation. And you put in your best efforts, and the company is very successful. But it is still not the top company of the industry. Now, is it a success or a failure? Depends on how you see it, right? Success and failure is in the eye of the beholder. It is a matter of perspective. It is subjective. Now suppose the company doesn't do very well and it shuts down. Then what? Then you would say that it is certainly a failure. No. Again, in your eyes it may be a failure because you look at it from your expectation point of view, from your individual point of view. You don't see it from the larger perspective, from the universal perspective. From the universal perspective, it is just a neutral situation which has come about in the natural course of working of the laws. And not just for you, but for the entire universe. So the problem is that you see it only from your limited perspective, and you declare it as a success or failure. This is the problem. And this is what is causing us so much suffering. When things don't go our way, we feel sad, we feel depressed, we feel frustrated and angry. And even when things go our way, we get success, then also there is suffering. We feel insecure, we feel so attached to that success that we feel insecure of losing it. We are anxious all the time, trying to safeguard that success. So our notions of success and failure is what is giving us all this suffering. If we try to look at the situation objectively as just a situation, perhaps we will be better off. Okay. There's an interesting example. So there was a man who used to run a bookshop in a city. It was a famous bookshop and everyone loved going there. And it became part of the city's culture. Everyone loved it, and people's lives were enriched by that bookshop. But after a few years, 10, 15 years, it could not survive the changing times and it shut down. Now, should the person who owns the bookshop see it as a failure? I don't think so. Because it is just how the universe is working. And this person created value in society through that bookshop while the bookshop could be there. Now he can find a new way to create the same value. Right? If your focus is on the value that you want to create, if your focus is on the contribution that you want to make to society, the duty that you're trying to fulfill through your resources, okay, then these ups and downs don't matter so much. It is just a change of scenery. You can still keep on creating the same value through different means. Right? So this is another thing that we can learn here. Secondly, your choice is not the only factor involved. This is the other conclusion that we can draw. You think that you are the one who is solely responsible for the result. So when things work out the way you want, you consider yourself as successful. And when they don't work out, then you consider yourself as a failure. So you impose upon yourself notions of success and failure. Right? So when you take upon yourself the title of failure, you feel less, you feel incapable, you feel insignificant, and that affects your life, obviously, and your future life choices. You may end up doing something unethical. And if you load yourself with success, that is equally problematic, because that gives you joy initially, but soon the insecurity set in. Again, you may end up doing something unethical. So we do this because we are so deeply attached to a particular result only. Okay, we are attached to the forms. We don't think about the value that we wanted to create. We believe that if I get X, then only would I be content. So I become deeply attached to that X. Anything less than X is a failure. So we have to change this entire approach. In Karma Yoga, we have already seen that approach is different. We know that these objects cannot give me what I want, so I don't act being attached to them. I don't act for attainment of certain results only. I act only to fulfill my duty. I focus on my duty, on the value that I want to create. And this is what is being said in the second line of the verse, Ma karma phal hetur bhu. Don't be the cause of the result. If you are motivated by the results, then you will take yourself as the sole cause of the result. You will take the whole burden of success or failure upon yourself. Whereas you are not the sole cause of the result, your choice is not the only thing that is bringing the success and failure, the so-called success and failure. There are so many other variables involved. The result is a product of all those variables. Then how can you take the burden of success or failure on yourself alone? You cannot. Okay? So just act to fulfill your duties, not to attain any specific result for yourself, not thinking that you are in control of the result, and then you won't be so deeply affected if things don't go your way. And this is real success. If you can take every situation objectively, without loading yourself with notions of success or failure, that is true success. Because you will be able to maintain the peace of your mind through all situations. You will not have a volatile mind which goes up with the success and down with every failure. And in life, as we know, there will be more failure than success. So this approach ensures that all through those times, you can maintain the peace of your mind. So true success is the ability to remain objective through success and failure. Okay? See, from a simple line, simple verse, so much can be drawn. So much can be drawn if we only go into the depth of it. Okay? We just think about the surface meaning, think about the action, don't think about the result. You don't get much out of this interpretation. Think of all the various ideas that we have seen. Okay. Now, does it mean that let anything happen and you just accept it without doing anything about it? No, not at all. You begin with the aim of fulfilling your duty. You think about how you can go about it and you put in your best to fulfill it. And then when the result comes, you assess. You again assess what your duty is. Is there any duty remaining? If yes, then you perform it. If no, then you move ahead. So it is not a passive approach or an uninterested approach. It's a very, very intelligent and proactive approach. First, it ensures that you don't take the result personally. When you don't take it personally, then you don't get very deeply affected by it. And so you can have a calm mind. And only a calm mind can think clearly, what is my duty, what is right and wrong, what should I do? With this calm mind, you assess and you take an action. That's why Krishna stresses in the end, don't be attached to inaction. Don't be passive. If you have a duty, perform it. So it is not an inactive approach at all. Inactivity is tamasic. This approach ensures that you reduce the tamasic inactiveness and passiveness of your nature and take proactive action. It ensures action in the true sense of the word. Generally, we just react. We get a result, we react. If the result is as per our liking, we are first elated and then insecure, and then we react out of our insecurities. If the result is not as per our liking, then we become sad and we react in anger or frustration or other such destructive emotions. So we react out of our raga and dvesha, and this is rajasic behavior. We have to rise above tamasic as well as rajasic. What we have to do is not judge the result by the standards of our personal raga dvesha. We have to judge it from the larger perspective. This would neutralize the raga dvesha. We would be calm and composed. We would think clearly about our duties and act upon them. This is a pure satvic action. And these are the actions of a karma yogi. Okay. So this verse gives us so much about how to approach an action, how to approach our choices, how to approach the result of those choices. So much we can learn from this one verse. Now, a very interesting idea that we have to understand here is about the four purusharthas. The four purusharthas which the Vedic tradition talks about. The Vedic tradition talks about the purusharthas, which means the aims of life. Artha, kama, dharma, moksha. These are the four purusharthas, or the four aims of life, so to say. Artha means wealth, basically, and everything related to wealth, like social status, affluence, power, name and fame, and so on. You get all that with wealth. People who aim for these things in life, who think that this is the ultimate, this is the best that can be achieved in life, they are covered under the first Purushartha, which is artha. Now there may be some people who don't see money and power as the aim. They consider pleasurable lifestyle as the aim. They think of indulging all their senses in the fanciful experiences of the world. Such an aim is covered under kama. Kama means pleasure. So, bringing pleasure to all the five senses. Most people in the world have these aims only, artha or kama. Then comes the third aim, dharma. There are few people who try to follow the samanya and vishesha dharmas that we talked about earlier. But for getting something out of them, getting something for their own self out of it. Whether it be punya or swarga or better next life or some name and fame in this life, it can be anything. And they may very conveniently ignore these dharmas when it is causing them some loss. So these people abide by dharma only when they are getting something out of it and they are not losing anything. So these people are covered under this third Purushartha, dharma. Then comes the fourth Purushartha, Moksha. Actually, all these people are looking for moksha only, as I have told you earlier, but they are not clear about it, they are not aware about it, or they are looking for it in the wrong places. Very few people understand what moksha is, how I am looking for moksha, and how I can achieve it only through self-knowledge. These rare ones are covered under this fourth Purushartha. These are the karma yogis. Now you see, even these karma yogis follow dharma. When they are preparing the mind, they have to fulfill all their duties, their dharma. So even they are practicing dharma. But the difference is that they do it not for any personal gain, not for punya or swarga or any of these things, but because it must be done. And they abide by dharma in all situations, regardless of their personal loss, their personal inconveniences. This is what makes them different from the previous lot. And so, by abiding by dharma in all situations, they are neutralizing their raga dvesha, their personal desires, their personal likes and dislikes, their limited sense of individuality. They are neutralizing all this and imbibing oneness with all beings. This is the inner purification, the antahkaran shuddhi required for knowledge. Okay? So, this is an interesting idea that we should understand regarding Karma Yoga, regarding the four Purusharthas, and where does karma yoga lie when we talk about the four purusharthas? Right? So this is it for now, and we will continue with the next verse in the next video.